A lot had happened to get me to this point in my first race day, and I just couldn't wait to get on the track and go race. Even though I had teched both bikes, I only signed up for the ultra lightweight super sport race, which was the first race of the day.
And for those of you who are new novices, we have 8 novices who graduated yesterday. So let's welcome those guys.
All right.
Congratulations. So this meeting is intended to just get people together. So you, your mentors, other novices just congregate in one place prior to the normal riders meeting to talk, ask questions, do whatever you got to do, because it's so easy to just get busy and get going with your day and not pause to think about a plan for the day and talk to your mentor. So I encourage just use this time to take a few minutes, think about one goal for the day, whether that's in some cases complete your first race or maybe get a few seconds faster in your race. Whatever it is, go out there with a goal. And if you need help with that, talk to your mentor, talk to me, talk to someone if you need help figuring out what a good goal would be.
With the riders meeting, so welcome to PIR and round 5 at PIR. Awesome. Welcome novices. Oh, and I have licenses for novices. I'll give them out tomorrow. Let's have fun. Let's go riding. Let's take care of each other. Be safe.
My transponder was charged and mounted, my bike was warmed up, and my tires had been on the warmers. I went out for my first practice session ever. I hadn't realized that in the practice, there are generally more bikes than just those in the class you're racing. So we had a mix of Ninja 250s, 300s, and vintage bikes, which meant a lot more traffic to navigate. The last 2 years of track days had got me used to getting past, but I wasn't used to passing other bikes, and I learned a lot in those first 2 practices. Immediately after the national anthem, I heard the announcement for the first race. First call, ultra lightweight super sport, first call. I think the raspiness of that is just the outdoor speakers, because I've heard the guy inside the tower, and his voice doesn't sound like that in real life.
And this is first call, 450 Superbike, lightweight Superbike, Formula 3. First call, 450 Superbike, lightweight Superbike, Formula 3. First call, 450 Superbike, lightweight Superbike, Formula 3. First call.
This was it. My first race was minutes away. My tires were heated, my bike was warmed up, I had gas, I was ready to go.
All right, you got to make the timer now. You're racing.
I heard the announcement. Last call, ultra lightweight super sport, last call. I was on my bike, my crew pulled the warmers off and dropped the stands, and as I pulled away, Abraham Balderas pours ice cold water down my back. Now that was a first, and it did wake me up. I rolled into the hot pits and then headed out on the track. I rolled up, and even though I looked at the positions of all the starting grids, I lined up in the wrong one, and it was like 3 other guys around me were all doing the same thing. We were adjusting our bikes to get in the right spot. And then you're just sitting there waiting for that green flag to part from that guy's hand. As soon as it does, you take off. And just like that, I was headed to the first corner of my first race ever. Now, I had no illusions of my position. I knew I was in the last racing position, but I was in the race. What I wasn't used to is what happens in a race when you're at the back. You're suddenly all alone on the track. Like I had the whole track to myself, and it was just me riding as fast as I could by myself. I didn't know it at that time, but each lap I was setting a new personal best lap time. Lap after lap, all by myself. And then the moment I knew would be coming, the front of the pack had caught me, and I was going to get lapped. The first bike to me was Paxton Gray on his 390 KTM. He whipped past me on the outside of turn 1. Before I could think to myself, well, Hannah will be next, bang, there Hannah Johnson passes me on the inside of turn 2. Both clean passes and both similar to what I'd already experienced in the mock race. There were no surprises or freak-out moments, just good, clean, respectful racing. At some point prior to the race, I had thought that it would be funny if I buzzed the wall, pumping my fist in victory as I came towards the checkered flag. I'd never seen anybody do that, and I would have laughed if I saw it, so that was my plan. And just like that, I found myself heading down the front straight towards the white flag, indicating I only had one more lap. But I found myself thinking about each corner prior to entry. Just get through this corner one more time. Then at the next corner, the same thing. Just get through this corner. I just wanted to see that checkered flag. As I exited the last turn, I came over by the wall, which I had never even done before. But my hand was up. Unknown to me, that last lap was again a new personal best, and all I was doing was just trying to survive. During all my planning, there was something I hadn't planned for, the emotions I would have after a lifetime of watching MotoGP, racing MotoGP online, and now I had just finished my first race ever. Tears were running down my cheeks as I rode around the track on my cool-down lap. Heading towards the pits, I didn't want that particular emotion to be seen, so I gathered myself up and got to my pit. No amount of Grand Slams or trophies I'd ever obtained in a lifetime of sports could compare to this. I was a racer. After racing my first race, I had much more confidence going back to Pacific Raceways. I had been preaching the fun of small bikes to Chris P., and I talked him into trying it out at Pacific. He's a seasoned 600 racer, and had never been on a small bike. So I put him on my backup R3. His emotion coming off the track sums up my feelings every session on that R3.
Dude, that is a kick in the pants! I had so much fun!
Next, I tried out my GPS tracking with a track screen overlay on my R6. I recorded my best lap ever at Pacific, and after the session, Chris told me I really needed to race the R6 at Portland's last round. Well, I didn't know about that, but I did know my confidence was better after riding the R6 at Pacific, and I just had a blast there. At Portland's last race, I raced both the R3 and the R6 on the same day. I put together a 10-minute video that captured many facets of a full race from the pit exit to returning to the pit at the end of the race. I was exhausted at the end of my Friday practice and was really worried about being too gassed to complete both races. But adrenaline kicked in and it wasn't an issue.
Yes? You did it.
After running my fastest R3 lap ever at PIR on the R3 on the last lap of the last race of the year, I decided to compare my 2018 fastest laps on my R3 and my R1 to my 2019 fastest laps on my R3 and my R6. I also put my GPS tracker on the R6 and included it in this comparison as well. It told me a lot to see that my R3's 2019 fastest lap was almost identical to my R1 fastest lap of 2018. And that my R6 fastest lap was nearly 10 seconds faster than both the R3 2019 lap and the R1 lap of 2018. What a ride this has been. From my first ever track day to touching down and dragging my knees for the first time ever, to meeting and riding with Jason Pridmore,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it so much.
and then finally getting my license to do my first races ever. What on earth will 2020 bring? More fun.